What's up, everybody? I'm Thomas J. Bellezza, and welcome to From the Hat, where we are talking by choice, chosen by random. Today, a very special guest. I say he's very special because of his grades and his IQ. Mr. Kenny Murdock is joining me for a very special time. This is special,
Yeah, that
it's like
seems to be a theme.
Where they're like, oh, the big, huge truck, the large, very big truck.
Are you doing idiocracy or a Trump speech?
Yeah, idiocracy, where like he's being fought. He got punished for
No, it just sounded like a Trump speech for a minute. That's all.
no, he said, yeah, in the movie he goes, you should use water on the crops, and it doesn't work in a day, so they put him in to be killed, but through monster trucks, and they're like, the next truck coming out of retirement, his big, huge, much bigger, bigger, large truck.
Oh shit! Yeah, it really is really good.
Anyway, if you haven't seen this before, how you doing, Kenny?
Doing all right.
Yeah, it's nice to see you a third week in a row.
Yeah,
Look
man.
at you breaking. You wore a different shirt for this show.
People need to start changing clothes more. I don't understand.
I don't know. Well, all I know is crisscross is going to make you want to jump. If you haven't seen this show before, I have a hat. I have some balls in that hat. I put my hand in the hat and play with the balls until Kenny says when, and then I pull the ball out, and it's associated with a topic. Go ahead, Kenny. Tell me when.
When?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah. Bro.
No way. No
what
way.
What number do you think it is?
It can't be 19.
It's 19.
How many balls are left in the hat?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that was 9.
Incredible.
Woo! I don't know. This is destiny. This is destiny.
Serendipity.
Oh my God!
Oh, no way. That's literally the example you gave me. Fuck.
Here it goes.
Wow, that's nuts.
Arguing semantics versus perspectives. Debates are often dismissed as just semantics, can actually reflect deeper value disagreements. Understanding the difference between language, precision, and value perspectives is crucial for meaningful dialogue. So, Kenny, before we get into this, I'm going to actually explain what the real topic is, all right? Arguing semantics is the debate on the word's meaning. So if we say something is disgusting and we read the definition and we both go, yes, I agree with that definition for disgusting. But the value perspectives is what we decide what is disgusting. So if we look at crumbs on the floor, right? Let's say a dog just ate a treat, okay? And then there's like crumbs from the dog eating. And one of us says, that is disgusting. And then the other one of us with more logical brain says, but you can sweep that up with no elbow grease. They're not going to, a health inspector is not going to close down the restaurant and fine you $5,000 for crumbs. Right. Sure. But that is not an argument. But then we argue and you go, no, it is disgusting. And then I go, no, it would only be disgusting if you had to put you had to put some work into cleaning it. It's a sweep.
Yeah. Sure.
Right. And then you say, we're just arguing semantics. In reality, you're just shutting off the conversation. But we aren't arguing semantics because the argument of semantics would be that we disagree with the definition.
Of disgusting, sure.
Our value perspectives, however, it takes more for, say, me to find something disgusting than it would, say, that other person who hypothetically is being made up.
And is not, not as somebody you've discussed previously
ever. Yeah, it's
none
not
of these top. It's all hypothetical.
Yeah,
none of these things.
It's just a random person flying on the wings of dragons.
And definitely not the last 3 episodes that we've been talking about. They are the same person. They're all hypothetical people.
10 out of 10 times I would say you're right.
Yeah,
but it's not every time. But it's every time, so it's not the same. So with that said, I'm going to give you the floor. Do you agree that arguing semantics is not the same as value perspectives? If so, what do you think of that situation, by the way?
I do agree. And I think that situation is I mean, it was a situation where somebody could have had a simple conversation. It could have been a fantastic learning opportunity for them, and instead they just chose to dismiss it, sweep it,
One of them did not try to dismiss it.
sweep it away, as you know, in a yeah, exactly. Sweep it away, almost, you know, in more effort than it would have took to sweep away the non-disgusting dog crumbs. But again, that's just my perspective.
Well, yeah, but I believe, hypothetically speaking, in this made-up scenario, the conversation came up because they wanted to prove a point that something was disgusting,
Right.
and I was like, "Yes, but I don't believe that is disgusting." And then hypothetically, they told me, "Yeah, but with somebody with a filth phobia, shouldn't this be horrible for you?" And I go, "Well, crumbs on the floor isn't filth.
Yeah, right.
Filth is like me having trouble touching the pole in a subway because I'm picturing hundreds, if not thousands, of different hands on this pole without it ever being washed."
Yeah, because bacteria from Swiss cheese and whatnot.
Yeah, you know. But crumbs on the floor from my own dog, hypothetically, that I can sweep up. It's like a child, you know. To me, if somebody's baby threw up on themselves, that to me would be disgusting. But if I had a child that threw up, I wouldn't be as disgusted by it. It's
It's
like
your
picking up
child.
dog poo. I'm not
Right.
going to pick up someone else's dog poo,
Random one, yeah.
but for my own dog. So the value perspective changed because how I perceive it, right? But the main argument was, really, it went from them saying it is disgusting to us arguing semantics. But I was actually more concerned that they found crumbs disgusting,
Right.
because either they're trying to prove a point, but they don't know how to prove it, or they really do find that disgusting. And that means I need to try to understand their perspective.
Right. Oh yeah, no, that's pretty much what I was gonna say. It's just interesting too, because lately I've realized that I was not a hypochondriac, but the amount, like, I don't need to wash my hands in between every time I touch something while cooking. And that's something I did for a long time in my life. Same
But
thing
you do
like,
wash your hands after you poop, though. Right?
oh, absolutely, yeah. And it's interesting too that you bring that up, because that was a topic on stream yesterday about how people don't do that. Apparently, I learned that recently. People are
Some
like, if
people
I
believe paper is clean enough.
yeah, no, that's just absolutely nuts to me. But
Dry paper.
same thing too. Yeah, that's just, so you're gonna pick up mud with a paper towel. Um meat, for instance, like if it was like slightly even discolored, I'd be like, oh, it's bad, gotta throw it out. Now I'm like sniffing it, it smells a little bit like sour milk, honestly. But it's like, is it so bad? Is it gonna make me sick? I've been pushing the boundaries of my colon health recently, truthfully. But I have come to the realization that I've kind of just been bugging a little bit about germs. So yeah, to be bugging out about but some people may find an animal's mouth or slobber, wrongly find it more disgusting.
Yeah.
You know, but that, you know, that could be that person's opinion on it, I suppose, their perception through values.
Yeah. Well, again, if cereal does smell like rotten milk, it's definitely bad. Just
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see.
By the way, I'd like to go back to the dog crumb thing. And
Yeah.
again, there is an objective truth, and then there is a perspective. So objectively, the crumbs are not actually disgusting.
No.
But if somebody perceives it as disgusting, it is for them. Like, that's an okay state. Like, if you go, to me, that's disgusting, and you're like, I just don't like filth, or I don't like things. I don't like dirt everywhere. Right? That was the other thing. I was like, well, how do you rate disgusting to not disgusting? Because, like, how many of the 7 crumbs do I have to pick up before you're like, this is no longer disgusting? Because there has to be a gradient, right?
Yeah. It can't be like one
to
crumb.
filthy to dirty to a mess to clean, right?
Yikes.
You know, it can't, right? But it's something you can just in one step clean up. I don't think the gradient makes sense then. Like, how is it? Like, if I have a crumb on my table, is that disgusting now? Or is that, whatever, debris?
Well, it's also too, like, and I mean, we're describing, every roommate's plight ever. you know. But it's kind of like situations where like when I would make macaroni and there'd be one in the drain, and in my mind it's like, yeah, I could sit here and try to stomp that shit down the drain, or eventually it's gonna just go down the drain. It's in a place where it's eventually gonna get down there. But then like your roommate's like, there's spaghetti all in the drain, why would you not just, why is there spaghetti in the drain? It's like, yeah, it's all the entire, the whole sink is just gross now because it's one spaghetti noodle that didn't make its way down the drain, but will as soon as you're done bitching about it and wash your hands.
Yeah. There are certain things where like it's okay, but again, it's okay for someone to perceive something, but to believe it to be true, that's where the conversation is interesting to me. Like that the fact that crumbs on the floor was disgusting, if they believed it was disgusting, that's like for them, like they're like, oh, that's just to me. But if they're like objectively, a health inspector would close down the restaurant for this. Now I'm interested in that conversation.
Yeah, because that's just wrong.
Yeah, but
what are you basing that information on?
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm not trying to like, I need to prove them wrong and me right.
Yeah.
I'm interested in why they perceive that as objective truth, because the way we perceive information isn't necessarily the truth that we, it's not what's really happening.
Right.
But in this discussion, arguing semantics versus value perspective, it's just what we know of the word's definition and how we place that value onto things to describe it. So again, the gradient, like how do we, is something, messy, dirty, filthy, disgusting, like what are the levels of the gradient? Because something can't just be disgusting and then not disgusting. Like there's a gradient to get there, because disgusting is a greater disgust than say dirt. Something that's dirty is not as disgusting, because you could be cooking and get sauce, like a spot of sauce in your shirt, and now your shirt is dirty, but it wouldn't be disgusting.
Sure, it's like you could take a sloppy shit and get a couple of shit speckles on the bottom of the toilet bowl from some water splashing. But that's not as gross as just diarrheaing all over the toilet
and then leaving it in the
right toilet. Exactly.
Like this is disgusting, and you're like, no, you can just flush it.
Yeah.
You also got to clean the toilet, disinfect it, like it's all over the place. You have it on the floor, you have it, the smell is disgusting. It's erroneous.
Eggs erroneous.
Erroneous. Speaking of, did you have eggs in your? Because look at them just sitting there. It's like they're unhatched. Yeah. But when it comes to arguing semantics and we're just arguing semantics, what are your thoughts on the ridiculousness of that?
I would say the ridiculousness level is so high that Rob Dyrdek would do weird hand movements around it. That's the level of ridiculousness that we're dealing with here.
Well, yeah, because it's not only is it off-putting, like you're like, all right, this person has no sense of discussion or communication, capabilities, but like the idea to shut a conversation down with, we're just arguing semantics is almost childish in my opinion, because
unless you were arguing semantics.
Well, yeah, but then it's often used as a dismissive tactic.
The fact that they were wrong and they were being dismissive, and the dismissive tactic they used was completely and totally wrong
because they believed they were right. And then, like, when they were on a therapy session later that day, hypothetically in the basement, they were so loud yelling at their therapist about, he doesn't even know what the word semantic means.
That's so nuts.
I was just standing there like, does he know there's vents?
Oh, I've been in that situation.
You know what I'm saying? And I was just like,
wait, like vent? Like, wait, did you have like you mean like
vents in the floor? Hypothetically,
right in the floor, right? So because the heat rises, right?
Yeah,
and yeah,
that it rises. The things are the metal gradients. Where the heat goes through.
Yeah, no, because my buddy had when he bought his house in upstate New York, the upstairs, the floors had vents in them, like straight up you could see down into the living room. He was like, yeah, it's because heat rises, so we don't. That's how we heat the fucking house.
Oh yeah, I can understand that, but no, these have.
I see what you're saying.
But you can still hear because it's,
right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There's
but
no
even then. Oh my gosh!
But he was like yelling, like, "I doesn't even know what semantics means," and it's like, no, I do know what semantics means, But the way he was explaining the situation was he was right and I was wrong.
Yeah, that's
hypothetically speaking. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But like the idea that what made it even funnier is he actually didn't know what the word semantics meant then, because first of all, he thought I didn't know what it was, but he was saying we were arguing semantics, but the actual argument of semantics would be us discussing what the definition of disgusting is, not necessarily what is disgusting.
My perspective value of that therapist is they sucked, because I would want my therapist.
Said
I would want my therapist to stop right there and go, "You're wrong. You don't. That's not semantics are." Like, that's what I would need from my therapist. I understand there's some therapists who will literally just let somebody talk their way to whatever the fuck that they want. Literally, kind of like this hypothetical person sounds like. There's therapists out there who just let people fucking bullshit their way to whatever the fuck they want to believe because it works for them, right? Like, if you came in sad and you talked your way to a way that you were less sad than when you came in here, and you didn't make me do my motherfucking job, I found that loophole. I'm
out. Imagine the therapist did just sit there quiet and just let him go off, and at the very end the therapist goes, so very interesting, but ultimately I think we've come to the conclusion of our sessions.
It's broke up with them right then and there. Yeah, that's an awkward situation. Now you're tagged. I had a therapist do that to me one time.
Really?
Yeah, I think we had what I thought was a great session, and at the end she goes, I'm just gonna recommend that. I'm gonna recommend you to some other people, and I was like, all right. And then that was at least the other ones had the kindness to just email me.
Oh, I got repurposed to another state. Shit. Isn't that your office though?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm opening a new one up in Alaska. Did she at least? I'm assuming it was a she, right?
It was,
yeah. Based on what you could be telling her, it can only be a woman that's like, I gotta go. Did she tell you why she was like, we're ending?
She told me I'm too self-aware, and I kind of
that's not a breakup. That's a compliment.
No, when somebody says to you, and again, I'm paraphrasing here. When somebody says to you, you're too self-aware, you come in here and you say the same shit every single week and arrive at the same conclusion. So when you get to the next step, here's who you should go to. That's fucking breaking me up. Yeah. No, that's. I took the self-aware as a compliment. You know what I'm saying? But then she was like, "Yeah, but you're just perseverating over the same problem week in and week out and not making any progress whatsoever." And that was like cool of her. She's like, "I don't want to deal with this bullshit anymore. I want to help people. I don't want people to just come in here. I don't want to take your fucking money."
Yeah, I've asked you several times not to describe your sexual activities of failed orgasm. I had a therapist cancel our sessions because of the self-awareness, and she was like, usually you talk yourself into the solution,
right? That's what she said. Yeah.
And she's like, that's your technique, just when you find yourself overthinking, just talk through it like you're talking to me. And he's like, at this point we can continue our sessions, but I don't feel I'm adding anything because you have the tools, because I am a student of psychology as well. So when we were in this, I was bringing up techniques, and but she did not say the second part, because she was like, you are healing. It's just a new subject. It's a new.
Oh yeah, no, see, I was on the same subject week in and week out, and
she's like a broken record.
Yeah, she's like, you're literally coming in here and saying,
I'm a human. I'm not a record. How am I a broken record?
I don't. You sound.
I'm not
dumb.
even made of plastic.
You're just arguing semantics now.
This is ridiculous. Every single time. What? Every single time we talk?
Every 10 times out of 10, you call me a broken record.
Which is ridiculous. We're not even in space. The same person, by the way, said that Event Horizon was the most accurate portrayal of what happens to somebody when they are in the vacuum of space and are killed by space's vacuum.
The horror movie Event Horizon? Okay.
He said the most, and he emphasized most accurate portrayal of somebody going out. And I was like, first of all, there is no vacuum in space, because then the protons from the sun would not reach the planets and we would not be able to see anything.
See, the thing though is now that you've told me this story, I know who we're talking about, and this person also said that the s'mores method in the Sandlot is the best way to make s'mores, and that's true. So I'm kind of inclined to
Wait, they
believe
did?
them.
Did they say that?
Yeah, you know, the
I
graham,
don't.
and then you
I
roast the
don't remember
mallow.
this conversation. I feel he. There's
No,
no, because I don't think he talked to you. Did he ever talk to you?
No, I'm being a dickhead.
I was gonna say he didn't like anybody I talked to.
I believe him on his Event Horizon opinion because he once told me that the s'mores method in the Sandlot is
I know
you've gone off the deep end, my friend.
I thought you were being facetious, but
yeah. Oh, okay.
But
as
I
long
thought
as you
the
thought I was being
conversation actually took place. I was
no.
That's why I did the follow-up question.
I've never talked to that person IRL ever, and if I have, it was so.
We're gonna have to end
meaningless. I don't remember it. You're using internet language in real life.
LOL.
You're on Twitch a little too much. You know. I'll BRB to that thought in a second, but
that's funny. Yeah, no, I didn't think. Yeah, because he was doing what's called isolation. So he would project isolation onto me and try to get me not to like the people that I liked.
Was he Chinese?
No.
Well, he might be prone to isolation. That's all. I was trying to get to know the person better.
No, you know, like it's an abusive technique. It's like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure. Yeah.
So they try to, you know, they're like, oh, why do you even talk to this person? This person's terrible. Blah, blah, blah. And then the next thing you do, you know, after you stop being friends with them, what do? They're commenting on everybody that they said were terrible people, going, oh, congratulations. Oh, that's amazing, because there's opportunity there and they want to be recognized.
AKA my early 20s.
Do you remember your early 20s?
Oh, vividly.
I thought you did drugs in the early 20s.
None that were like, I mean, I smoked pot, but I didn't do like tons of acid.
Impossible. Isn't that ceramic?
No, you're thinking of pottery, my friend.
Oh, pottery. Yeah, oh, the stuff you smoke.
Right. Exactly.
Do you ever have a vivid recollection of something that you did in the past, like when you were really young, and then go, man, if I could just change that one thing, but then you realize if I change that one thing, like the trajectory of your life would be completely different, and then you're like, these things that I loved would never have happened?
I'm gonna say no, but I'm going only because what you're describing feels a little bit like regret. Like, I don't want to change anything that happened, but what I will say is that like something that at one time was this catastrophic event that I thought was going to end my life, that I would have loved in that moment to have changed and done the opposite of, I would not change now because I would not have gone the way I went if I did not experience that terrible thing.
This would be an argument of semantics. I was having an existential crisis. It's where you spiral down through the anxiety-induced prospect of something. It's less about regret.
Okay.
It's sort of going like, wow, we're a speck on the planet. Oh, we're a tiny planet in a universe of X amount of planets.
Okay.
Wait, we're just a galaxy among hundreds of thousands. And then you just spiral out. So it's taking a moment going, if I change that moment, all these things would have changed. And then you start having just as a thought exercise, because you're thinking about that memory. You know?
Oh, well, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I still
like
think about
spiraling into like, and I would lose all these wonderful things. And like you're just starting to like reanalyze your, because I have a photographic memory, so I like can relive my life sometimes, and it's like in thoughts and vivid, and it's just crazy. So I sometimes
have that, but only for traumatic moments.
Oh, like with your uncle?
yeah, exactly.
Did he forget to tap your shoulder? That technically doesn't count.
Yeah, that's not what my therapist said.
You know, the seventh time I told my therapist that, she was like, we've been over this.
We got it. Now, are you talking about the seventh time it happened, or are we talking about the same time?
Yeah, the same time. If you in this situation, right? If somebody said to you, we're arguing semantics, how would you respond to that?
I mean, what is it? Are we actually arguing semantics?
No. Like for example, someone goes, that girl
just
is
like
hot.
You're as like
and
an okay, yeah.
And you go, she is not hot. She's like a 3 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go, she's hot. And you're like, she's literally missing half her face. Objectively speaking, she's on a different spectrum. She might be hot for half face people.
Right.
But she's drooling out of her eye sockets.
but doesn't that also, but does,
That's the value perspective.
right, exactly. You're
But
right,
how?
right.
But
Yeah,
the semantics would be they are saying hot. She is objectively hot,
yeah.
but that is not logically true.
Well, but then how do you objectively, like,
No, he could say, I find her attractive,
yeah,
right? I think she's hot.
right.
But to say she is hot is the incorrect statement.
Ah,
Because
okay.
one is a value perspective, which can't be denied. I think when I eat chili, I love chili. It's the best. It's
So
an accurate statement.
the
But
semantics
chili
of it is
the best.
agree. Sorry, I'm sorry. You were
No, go ahead,
actually, you were crushing it. You were crushing it with a good metaphor. So the semantics of it would be that, and somebody you find attractive is, you could call that person hot, but the actual degree of attractiveness between how we find them is the perspective.
Yes, but
So if somebody said to me, we're arguing semantics, no, I'm not, because I agree that if you find that person attractive, that they're hot to you. I understand what hot is. They're just not hot to me.
yeah, that's a perspective. The
Right.
semantics would be literally them saying they are hot. And then you're like, to you? And you're like, no, look how hot they are. They're just a hot person.
And then I say no, and they go, okay, we're just arguing semantics now. I was like, no,
Yeah.
we're not. Yeah, okay.
No, in that moment you are, because you have to define what hot is, because they are not.
Oh,
defining hot
yeah.
correctly.
Okay, now, yeah, no, okay. So
Because
I was
objectively,
okay.
but if you were arguing the perspectives, like if you're like, I think she's hot, and you're like, I don't think she's hot, and then they're like, we're just arguing semantics. You're not technically arguing. You're arguing perspective,
Right. Okay.
the value, the gradient of what hot is. But the moment they make it a fact, that's the thing. Perspective is our opinion, our thoughts, how we absorb the information and then perceive it and then have a statement on it, right?
Mhm.
But objective is if I say it's daytime, but it's nighttime, right? But if I go, this is my daytime because I have an off cycle, that is true from my perspective, because I sleep during the day and I'm up at night, right? So now that becomes true. Nighttime is my daytime. So I can say this is day to me. But if I say this is daytime, that's me stating an objective fact.
I got you.
And now I am no longer accurate.
Right. Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
And now we could have an argument of semantics, because daytime, as per the definition, would say that you are incorrect, because objectively, it is indeed night and the sun is not out. It is only reflecting off of the moon.
Nice.
You know?
That was a nice little scenario you painted there. The sun reflecting off the moon. Dad's like a little wavy lake.
I like the way it flickers along the water ripple. It makes a trickle against the sound of birds in night. I hear the owl call, telling me, hey, Kenny, why do you keep bringing this up every single time? Just stop going over to your uncle's house. But he's family.
How are you not signed to Disney?
Because I'm so great.
Is that what it is?
They haven't knocked on my door yet. I don't know.
Too unique.
Do you believe that talent alone will lead to success?
I think there is a very, 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 very slim. No, actually, there's a 0% chance.
Yeah, because the question is talent alone.
Right. Yeah.
Lead to, because the moment you meet somebody, it's no longer talent based.
The talent will give you the opportunity. It's what you do with the opportunity.
No, the talent will not give you the opportunity.
Wait, what do you mean? If somebody sees me and goes, "Wow, that guy's funny,"
what,
and then
what gave them what gave you the opportunity? Them seeing you or the talent?
The talent. They saw me in the room. I was just another guy in the room.
Seen. No, listen. Talent is not what gave you the opportunity. The opportunity is that they saw you, which is marketing.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Saying hi to them is networking.
right.
Which builds on the opportunity, because now they like you or dislike you. The most they're going to do with the talent is either like it or not like it, but they have to still see it. So the opportunity to see the talent
was the opportunity.
Okay. But I think we're just arguing semantics. No, but that is that's the misconception of people in the entertainment industry. They believe well, my talent will get me discovered. Yeah, but
Right.
people need to see that talent. But also, like for comedians, they're like, oh, I'll just keep performing. And you're like, but you're not good yet. Yeah, but I want to get on big shows. But why? Well, because I am good, like in their mind.
Right.
Why would I think? And you should think you're good, right? But the objective truth is you're still learning. So you have to build enough relationships and enough brand value that you can suck and people will still support you. I mean, when Jerry Seinfeld did the movie Comedian, he was literally reading off a paper and working on jokes, and people are like, hey, these are crappy jokes. And he's Jerry Seinfeld, and he's like, I'm working new jokes. I have to go through the process. And they're thinking they're going to get the best version. Does that mean they're never going to support Jerry Seinfeld again?
Of course
no.
not.
But imagine that was an unknown comic. They would be like, that comic was terrible.
Because they didn't build a relationship with them. They don't know they're funny
off
stage.
They didn't build an emotional relationship with their audience, nor did they build. Because imagine the owner of that club, which happened to be Gotham, actually, in the video. Imagine the owner of the club, right? Saw that, Chris, and he's like, hey, why are you reading off paper and on your notebook and everyone's like booing you? I'm never going to have this person back.
Yeah.
But they're not going to say that about Jerry because they have the handshake relationship. They have, So if you think backwards, talent equals success, you're going to fail because you haven't done the work.
Correct.
And that's what I always tell, it's always about earning, you got to pay your dues. The dues is getting people to like you. It's not putting in the work to become good.
Yeah. It's not doing X amount of bringers. It's not.
Yeah. No,
barking for the club.
All that is crap.
For the club, actually, right?
Have we barked for a club? I think jokingly.
Greenwich Village. We barked a couple of nights for the Grizzly pair.
Not on purpose.
We still did it.
It had to have been an experiment. It's like when we did the Broadway, when everyone in Top was like, we're going to do shows. And I was like, let's do a show. And then, like, all the people that showed up were the people we invited.
Invited, yeah.
And then and everyone's like, oh, I get it. And I was like, oh, do you? As if my years of experience.
Yeah, they get it. That's why they left like 2 days later.
Well, they had to let their wings spread.
They were being clipped. Yeah, they were holding them down.
Oh, I got to shine. The other one decided to be a real estate agent and didn't like the fact that people said, how's Thomas doing? That's so crazy to me. Like the people thought of you when they saw me. And I'm like, people think of you guys when they see me too, right? Like that's the reverse. Because they see you. They don't have to think about you. You're right there.
Wild. Wait a second.
What do I know? Anyway, when I send you I'm going to send you my self-help books. You know that, right? I'm going to send you. Yeah. You going to write a review after you read it, or you're not going to read it and just be like, I've already heard this bullshit?
I will copy and paste it into AI and have some bullet points given to me.
Would you really?
No.
That's terrible, man.
I would just never read it.
Would you never read it?
No.
Because that's interesting to me. No, seriously. I kind of want to have a little quick conversation about this.
Sure.
Because, like,
where you're discussing sending me things that are essentially all the building blocks of the Thomas method and how you became successful and things like that, right?
Yeah. It would be, but each book would focus on like a very specific thing.
Sure.
But I had some people that they're always like asking me questions, So I was like, well, let me send you my book, and you read it, and in turn you will learn stuff, but also give me feedback on the clarity of the book. And everyone read like maybe half the first chapter, and then I was like, why didn't you read it? And the feedback was that it was very conversational and a lot of information, but at the same time, they weren't getting what they wanted, which was, I have a talent and I want that talent to make me successful. Because the book is all about foundation. It's about creating capital. It's about organizing your circle of influence. It's like,
what I find interesting about having met you and having been friends with you for so long is that the talent part of it, I'm missing what I'm I've lost what I was trying to say. But this, okay, so the people you meet and are talking about are they want their talent to be how they achieve the success. But the stuff you tell them to do or try to teach them is way more fun and challenging and keeps it fresh, and it takes their one-dimensional thought process is so weird to me, because when I met you, I was frustrated with the fact that the talent wasn't getting me to where I thought it was going to get me. And then you showed me the other avenues, and I went, oh, fuck, I suck at literally everything this man is trying to tell me I need to be good at. So then actually applying what you were teaching me and that became the fun of it. So it's very, very surprising to me when you tell me you are giving the information to people, because the only thing I would say, for if I was to receive, like, because I'm one of these people who ask you questions all the time, if you were to send me a PDF or whatever with every single question answered that I could ever ask, perceivable question I could ask, I would read it. I just don't know if I would absorb it, because having you there to actually explain it for me, whether it is just knowing you and you there, it's almost a crutch, I would guess, in a little bit of a way, because it's one thing to have all the answers in front of you, but it's another thing to be told all the answers without having to do the work.
Yeah, there'll be an audio version.
Awesome. Yeah. No, so that's the only thing I could say. Like, it's your initial question of, would I read it? Yes, but I would have to go into it. Like, let's say, I don't know, you have some weird condition where you're gonna die real soon and you're not gonna be here anymore, hypothetically.
Hypothetically speaking,
one day I'm gonna have a question, and there's not gonna be a Thomas there. And I'm gonna have to go to these
you're gonna have to read
source materials.
Yeah.
So the thing that I'm trying to say in a roundabout way, or as I've learned to become, is I'm a waffle yapper. I talk with no real. I roundaboutly talk about all my topics without getting to the point.
You're a weaver.
Yeah, that's kind of not of only. I wish it was orbs and baskets, not bullshit. Not incoherent drivel. I would, knowing me and knowing Kenny Murdock, I would go into reading it with, well, there's words, I get it, but I just, without Thomas there, I'm not going to understand it. If I actually went into it and did the work and took the information out of it, both the things that I've already learned from you that I think I have a firm grasp of, and the things I don't, I would read it. That's the answer. But that I'm just telling you to further my thought process on reading them. It would be tough to read them without you there to be like,
it is written though. It's written at a level 9 Thomas.
Oof. Wait, no, a level. Wait, just to refresh. Level 10 Thomas is like the biggest dickhead you can get.
Yeah. Just so the audience.
Level 10 Thomas is, you're not getting a friend answer. You're getting what some fucking person in an office would tell you if you were talking to him, like the potato you're talking to him. Like,
yeah.
Okay. Like, so it's written at a level 9. You're saying
it's written at a level 9, so it's just making a lot of jokes. It's talking. It's bursting a lot of bubbles.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, of course, your band is going to be awesome, amazing, unique. Look how good it is, right? That's why you want to become successful, but no one has knocked on your door yet, so something's wrong with everyone else.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's
right?
Just, that the thought pattern of every artist ever.
Yeah, but
every failure. Oh no, that's not fair. Success is what you make of it.
Well, you have to define success.
Right, exactly. It's not
in my book, it's making a living within your field of interest. And a living is not a lifestyle, it's affording your average monthly overhead.
Well, that's like the conversation I would get into with comedians all the time. I would be like, you're not a successful comedian. And they would say, well, why do you say that? Like, because you're not living, you're not making money off of it. And they go, well, that's not
no.
Hold on, wait. They go, that's not the definition of success. And I go, I agree. But you're the one saying how you wish you did not have to go to a day job. And you wish your comedy could be the way you get paid, so you don't have to go to this office every day. I said, so you've told me what you feel your success of comedy is, and I'm grading you on that, having known you. And they go, yeah, well, I guess.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true.
But I'm just Kenny Murdock. I'm just a dickhead.
Oh, that actually, that makes sense. My slight caveat for my definition is within your field of interest. So you can never in your entire life whatsoever make money doing the thing you love doing. So like if you're a comedian and you do a show and you're like, oh, I got paid for my comedy. You didn't get paid for your comedy. Because if you did, then you wouldn't have had to do the work to get to that point. And what I mean is, are they paying you for the comedy, or are they paying you because of your brand? Are they paying you because of your following? Are they paying you because they know you? Are they paying you because, right? There's like so many other elements that led to you getting paid.
So what you're basically
comedy.
saying, what you're saying is I have 10,000 followers on social media. I'm a known comedian. A club promoter sees those 10,000 followers. He's never seen me perform a day in my life, but he knows that people are going to come to this motherfucker if they book me. So you that's how you got the booking.
Yeah. You're technically getting paid because of your value.
Hmm.
Because if you only got paid for your comedy, then you wouldn't be those comics going, he doesn't even pay me to go up for 5 minutes. Yeah, because no one's here to see you.
Yeah.
You didn't do anything to make them money.
And then
I performed. Yeah, but it doesn't do anything. Yeah, but artists should be paid. No, artists shouldn't be paid. The value of your service should be what you get paid for. And your service is everything you bring to the table. And it can't just be, I tell jokes, I do music, I write books. It's like authors that are like, oh, well, I wrote this great book. Well, why is it great? Because I wrote it and I should be paid for it.
Sure.
That seems weird to me.
And then also too, like, so even if say, I don't know, like a comedian is putting on a show or a booker's putting on a show and the headliner is going to bring 100 people because they know the headliner. So he books him, but he puts you on that show. You didn't get on that show because you're funny. You got on that show because the promoter knows you personally, has a relationship with you and says, hey, so even right now we're talking about getting paid because of your brand value.
Yeah.
So even in this situation, even if it's, you're not the draw, you still have a relationship with the person. They know, well, I'm putting together this, so I know you would fit into it well.
Yeah. And whether they pay you or not is simply because they like you.
Correct.
But even the person where it goes, because they're going to bring 100 people, they're getting paid because they have a draw.
Right.
They're not getting paid for comedy.
So
it just so happens they're doing comedy.
Right. That was literally gonna be the next thing. Because if you were fucking going up there doing slam poetry or making pottery, but 100 people want to come fucking see you do it, you got that draw. Word. Yep.
They're gonna pay you. They're going to pay you just because. This is the thing, if you, Kenny Murdock, went up to somebody, let's say Comedy Central, right? If that exists still, right?
It does.
Right. Let's say you went up to them, right? But standing next to you was Jerry Seinfeld. Okay. And you both said the exact same thing for some reason. You said, will you book me and pay me for my comedy? Who are they going to book?
Jerry.
Why? You're both comedians. You both tell jokes.
Well, one of us is going to bring 100,000 people, and one of us is going to hope that 10 people listen to him enough to say, okay, yeah, I'll drag myself to this fucking show. Shut up. Get out of my inbox.
And that's the thing, right? So no one is ever paid. Like, actors aren't paid for acting. That's just not how it works. It's, you happen to be acting, but you're getting paid for everything that led up to that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're getting paid for doing the actual job. Acting is the art. That's the fun part. You don't get paid for that because you could also do it for free and you'd still be acting, right?
That's a super good way to, I never looked at it like that.
If you were a nobody and you did local play and you knew everybody in the playhouse and they're like, hey, Kenny, I want you to be in this play. And you're like, I don't act. And they're like, don't worry. I think you'd be great. I like your personality. Just don't even worry about just say the stuff like you would say. And then you go up there and you get paid $50 for the performance. You're not getting paid for acting. Not only are you not an actor, they didn't even want you acting. They said, just go up here and talk, say the words, and because they like you.
Yeah.
So in no way, shape, or form were you paid for acting. You were paid because they know you.
That's wild.
Right? Like the Wayans, they just got a show. The what's his name?
They got another one? They're still getting shows?
Yeah, it's the father-son duo. But they didn't get
Damon.
that show. Yeah, the Damon Wayans, right? Damon and Damon Jr. Wayans. They didn't get that show because they're actors / comedians. They're not getting paid because they're actors / comedians. They got paid because they are dangerous.
Because they know people know who the weigh-ins are. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
oh, I wish I was making a living. No one gets paid to make a living doing the thing they love. They get paid for doing all the work that allows them to do the thing they love. And that's why my definition for success is making a living within your field of interest. Because some comedians think they have to be doing comedy to get paid, but you could write, you could advise, you could be a part of a project, you could even just help a show. No, I'm not. I know you're going to pay me $500 to help produce the show, but I don't want it. But I'll take $500 if you put me on the stage. Well, then you're an idiot. Because the $500 not only gets you paid something, but you're in the field of your interest.
Right.
You get to build relationships. You get to show your value sets in real time, like what you're capable of. Value sets are like the way you lead, follow, or advise. Lead is what doesn't matter. But anyway, so when you're involved in a situation, how do you lead, follow, and advise? Is your value sets, and people see it, and then they go, wow, they're a real commodity to have around in a product. And then eventually they're going to go, oh, Kenny, you're a comedian too, right? Maybe they knew you were a comedian, but they're like, you know what? Seven shows in, you did great as helping with producing the show. Do you want to do an open spot, feature? And you're going to go, yeah. You're still not getting paid for the comedy, though. You're getting paid $500 for being involved in the thing. You know what I'm saying? But like people don't think like that. They think if I'm not doing the thing I want to do, you're not going to give me a lead role in the movie. Well, I don't want it. You're only giving me under 5. You know what? Give me the under 5, and then I'll be so good I'll outshine the main actor, which means they'll never cast you again because you're not supposed to upstage the lead like that.
Yeah.
You're doing a disservice.
But the stuff you do behind the scenes with the people who gave you the not lead role could potentially one day lead you to a lead role.
Yeah, because you're joining the table to elevate the mission. Right. And in this case, the lead actor this is their vehicle, and you want to elevate the product to help best support the lead. Right? Not only the lead, but the producer and the writers and the director and everyone involved. So how can I best do my role and not make it about me? How do I become a cog in the machine to best move this machine forward, this table? And that's leading, following, and advising. You advise where you can, but don't be upset if they don't take your acceptance. You follow to elevate and help others. And then you lead to inspire and motivate. Right? You don't lead to be seen. You don't follow to be heard, and you don't advise to be right. Okay. But most people, they don't think like that.
Is there a sequence to it, or could somebody's strengths be so much so and natural that they step into a leadership position initially, or
you're talking about something different. Leadership position and leadership are not the same thing in this situation.
Okay, all right.
We're arguing semantics. No. Leadership position is I was hired or I was placed into the position. Or I worked myself to be like, all right, everyone, we need someone over here. When I say leadership, I mean to inspire, to motivate, to help, to basically create initiative. It's somebody that has the energy, that has a leadership energy to it, but isn't taking control.
What about like a David Goggins, David Goggins, the really fat guy who lost a bunch of weight late in life, and now he's like a motivational dude. Like he's trying to inspire people.
Oh, the runner.
Yeah. He's trying to inspire people to take control of their health and, do better with their lives and their dietary decisions. Did he have to follow somebody else who did that first in order to get to be able to lead?
You're using the words
too literally.
No, I defined them when I said them. Being a follower doesn't mean blindly go where they go. Following means to elevate the mission of the table, to do what is necessary in the best possible way to help others at that table for the mission. All right. And advising doesn't mean to get paid or to be like, I am the person who has all the answers. No, it just goes, oh, you need a photographer. I know a photographer. If you want, I'll introduce you. That's advising. You're going, I have the answers to this. Right. Okay. But if they go, I'm not interested in your photographer, then you go, okay, no problem. Right. But that leadership element is being able to speak up. So leading is someone goes, I need a photographer. Leading is going, I know someone.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And then they
Now,
go, oh yeah, I don't want that photographer. And then going, oh, does anyone else have a photographer?
okay. So you led with your decision. You led with your suggestion. It wasn't picked up. So you followed through to somebody else who may have a photographer
Yeah.
because their photographer will meet the vision and help further the mission.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Now
Right.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
But if you're sitting down in the middle of a crew, let's say you're doing background work, right? And they say, we need somebody to sit on the bench over here. And you just stand there like this.
Oh yeah, the person who steps up and sits on the bench is the lead.
They are taking, they are leading and therefore helping elevate the mission by following the suggestions or the needs of the table. And then they could advise too. They go, actually, I don't think I would be good in that spot, but David, he's a little shy. He'd be really good on the bench. That's advising.
Okay.
See? That's why when we used to go out and stuff as top of the bottom pile, people remembered me because I took a leadership.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
I always took initiative. Right. But I didn't. What did I also always do? I always put your guys' names first.
Right.
I always pushed you guys. Right.
Found a way to pivot to us. Maybe broke the ice, but always found a way to make sure we made our way into the circle. Yeah.
Because my strength was that I wasn't shy. Your weakness is where you were shy, but your strengths were in conversation. Right. So you could have a conversation, but it was hard to start that.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So, and even in conversations, sometimes I would take a step back and let you guys kind of take over the conversation. Right after it started, because that's what you're supposed to do as a leader. That's what you're supposed to do when following, because it's all about the table. It's not about individuals. Right. And I said this once about my band a long time ago. And like my bassist was like, oh, the bass players, the musicians aren't important. Well, then let's see how you perform in Canada. I quit. And then, I got my brother who's like an expert bass player for fucking 30 years at the time. And he's like, yeah, I could step in. And he learned the songs in 2 weeks. And then we went and played Canada. And then I was like, my point is, we didn't need you, but it's about the brand. It wasn't that I was saying musicians aren't important. It's just individually, none of us are important. The brand is.
Right.
The band, the brand, the performance, the way we represent ourselves, that's more important than any one individual. And it was told to him by a third party. So it was lost in translation.
This feels like the crisis that all Linkin Park fans are going through right now.
So I don't think they should call themselves Linkin Park, but they definitely should be allowed to play Linkin Park songs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they aren't Linkin Park anymore. It's like if Ozzy, like when Ozzy left Black Sabbath, they could still be Black Sabbath because it's Tony's band.
Did Chester put them together? Yeah.
Oh wait, no. I think the DJ actually owns the band. You know what? I stand by
the DJ of Linkin Park.
Yeah. He's the main. Okay. He's the main guy. He brought Chester, and so they can stay Linkin Park. But if Ozzy left Ozzy Osbourne as the band,
he couldn't be Ozzy Osbourne anymore.
Yeah, you'd have to call yourself Black Label Society, like Zach does. And, they could still play Ozzy songs, but it's not Ozzy Osbourne.
That's funny.
Like when I left Tenebra, I changed it to ALTAYON, because the drummer and I started the band 3 years before I met him. But when I joined with him, we became a partnership. We started the S Corp together. We put our money in together. So it was our band. So when I left, I didn't want to keep the name Tenebra. He didn't keep the name Tenebra. He did a different band, and I started ALTAYON. So
do you think
still play Tenebra songs though?
Do you think there is a level to take Blink-182 for instance? They broke up the first time, and then Tom went and did Angels and Airwaves, and Mark did Plus 44 with Travis. So then they came back together. They put out an album, and then Mark left. Tom left again. But then at that point, do you think it was just Mark being like, "We're just." The first time I was being like polite and not using Blink-182 anymore because it is us. So we started it together, but now it just feels like you're kind of just done with it. So I'm gonna bring in Skiba, and we're gonna continue on as Blink-182.
I think it comes down to did they have a conversation or not? Because if they started it together and everything, and one of them's like, yeah, go ahead, do three. What do I care about Blink when no one else does? Then Sorry, I'm at an age where I enjoyed music.
Fuck off.
So I like Blink-182. I was in kindergarten when you were an adult. What am I, 10 years older than you? Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah,
I'm
something
46.
Like that.
What are you?
I'll be 39 next month.
Oh, yeah. When I was
Almost.
25, you was still all right. Anyway, doesn't matter. But as long as there's a conversation, I think it's okay in that scenario. It could, but I probably would have not done this. I would have changed the name. However, I could understand at that level the money that's involved.
Well, that's kind of what I would what I was saying with Linkin Park. I was like, why go forward as another band? You could just be. You have it built in. It's Linkin Park. You know, you got a logo and everything.
Yeah, but they could change the name of the band and still function with the same songs because other bands have done that, like super bands, you know, where they take a musician from each different band and then they create you know, what's that band where
the Traveling Wilburys,
the Soundgarden, Chris Cornell sang for them, and then it was the guitars from
no,
Rage Against the Machine.
I almost said Velvet Revolver, but that's not it.
Well, that's another example,
that's
right? And they did very well. It's just the singer died. The same thing with Chris Cornell, right? So you can change the name if you're at that level. If you're playing at that level, you can change your band's name and still do okay, because you're still, especially if you play some of the songs from like imagine the Chris Cornell band played Soundgarden songs and they played Rage Against the Machine song, but like they played it in their style. Like people would be like excited about that because it's a different variation, you know?
I would think so.
It's like when you go see a band and they play the song exactly like the album. You're just like, all right, I don't need to pay. I don't have to come to another show. There's no stage show.
Yeah, really.
It was just loud.
You're just describing the Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah. But Dream Theater, you know, when you go see them, they play around, they jam, and you're like, oh, that's
right,
cool.
Yeah.
You know, but don't get me wrong, seeing Ozzy and Black Sabbath in concert was pretty interesting. Even Dio, because of like the nostalgic element of it. You know, you're like, oh, these are like my musical heroes. But like, I've seen Typo Negative. I love Typo Negative. I was friends with Peter Steele. But like, at the same time, the only thing that was really entertaining was that they did crazy stuff on stage.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think Gigi Allen's like a talentless void piece of shit, but his onstage antics are fucking great.
But that's why you go. You go for
exactly. No. Same thing with Gwar. Like I can't fucking put together a musical lick as far as enjoying it, but I would go watch a Gwar show tomorrow if I was given.
Well, now you're talking crazy because Gwar is amazing. I fucked a race on what a frozen piece of shit.
Jesus Christ.
That's a great line.
Oh, that's like that. They're on the level of like MSI for me. Like I hate MSI, but I get the appeal.
You don't like the line, she's a quadriplegic chick?
Kind of.
Gwar is amazing.
Maybe I need to maybe I need to revisit Gwar.
Maybe you need to read the lyrics because it's difficult to understand what they're saying sometimes. Fuck. But they got great. Listen, you can't listen to Gwar though and think like I'm gonna get some Mozart energy out of it. You know what I'm saying?
I never did. I never did.
You're taking a frozen piece of poop and putting it in her butthole, and that's the music you're getting. If you can accept that, you will have a good time.
Yeah, I'm the goose here, clearly.
It's like watching the first Transformers movie and then being disappointed it wasn't Shawshank Redemption.
I guess, but how are they going to register the car?
How are they going to register the car? Speaking of, somebody asked me how so-and-so is doing, you know, the one that needed to spread their wings. And I was like, I haven't talked to that person.
I haven't had a meaningful conversation with that person
ever.
That person did a whole lot for me at one point in life.
What? Oh, he took care of it. Well, he had to because he had rocks in his mouth.
Tough. But had a meaningful, like, do I believe that person genuinely would care if I succeed or not? No, not anymore. I don't think. I still have much love for that person, but I don't think anymore does that. In fact, I think that person would probably lean toward negatively speaking about me more
because you like me.
Maybe I wouldn't go that far, Thomas. I don't think everybody just automatically writes me off because I still fuck with you. I don't think there's too many people. I think all the people, yeah, I think all the people that would do that have done that and been also written off by me since then. I don't think there's anybody left.
Yeah, it was like a
that I word. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody left still that who looks at our relationship and goes, "I'm not gonna fuck with them because of that relationship."
Oh yeah, but there are definitely still people from the old days that look at me and go,
"Oh, I'm sure, yeah." I bet.
Well, because I still have friends in that world somehow.
I
honestly,
I wish I didn't talk to 50% of the people I talked to in that world, because even people I didn't think there was any animosity with, apparently there was. So it was like, Jesus Christ. It was funny. I feel like all the people that I thought there was beef with, wasn't, and all the people I thought we were like mad cool were secretly just clowning me behind closed doors. Actually, now that we're really thinking about it, maybe it was the relationship with you that first. But again, those people are so far in the past.
Yeah. And it's amazing to look back there and be like, these people were so mean to everybody that wasn't them or in their clique.
Yeah. But
they didn't give people chances. They didn't allow people into that world.
I got into a beef with Mike Keegan a couple of years ago. Like, a guy that I literally like.
Did the conversation have weight to it? Was it or was it Low Keegan?
The thing that got me so fucked up about it was like, that guy makes the worst, most inappropriate jokes, and they don't all hit. You know what I'm saying? They ain't all home runs. You know what I'm saying? So I made a joke about how getting gastric bypass surgery is cheating. Because it is. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, yeah, okay, you don't have a thyroid problem. You don't have something medically wrong with you. You just don't know how to stop eating Oreos.
That's really the issue.
He had T-Rex arms. He couldn't. I don't even know how he could. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, after a while, I think the stopping point from him was his titties was getting in the way of his arms, and he couldn't force feed anymore. But I really genuinely respected this man. And so for him to get so butthurt over a bad joke, and then later on when I bring it up, for him to be like, I never fucking liked you. I always thought you were a clown. I'm at a level now where I don't have to entertain the clowns anymore. And in my head, I go, you do a radio show that averages like 90 views for governors. What the fuck are you talking about? You're at a level now where you get to clown on me. And all I said to him was, I guess I misconstrued the boundaries of this relationship, because like, it's been nothing but love in the comments for years and years and fucking years. You know, if you're right now in public admitting that you're a fake piece of shit who like has no integrity whatsoever, that's cool. But I'm going to tell you, I'm still the same person day one now that I was day one. So that's Kenny Murdock. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be who the fuck you want to be, but you would never catch me on Facebook saying, yeah, I was fake to you for years. You know what I'm saying? No, I just wouldn't fucking talk to you.
Yeah, that is a hard reality, because like when they're nice to you, like I get it, like be cordial, like that's the first rule, be nice to everyone. You never know if someone isn't or someone knows me.
Sure.
But to come out and be like, well, I never liked you. Well, like, I put time into you and helped you out, and you took advantage of me then. Because there are people, I'm not going to name their names because I don't want to support them, because they said that I faked my cancer. But I put them on shows. I got them into my theater to open up for my play. I did whatever I could to help them with other things. I let them use my spaces so they could film their stuff. They asked me to be in their movies, and I did it for free, right? And they asked me to be physical in the movies, and I did, right? And then they said I faked my cancer, or they didn't say it specifically. They agreed with the guests that said I faked my cancer, and then they agreed, yeah. So I contacted this person and said, hey, I thought we were friends, and they were like, well, I would say we're associates at best, and that's even pushing it. Oof. I didn't respond. I just deleted everything. I unfriended him. I blocked him, and I was like, I don't need this, because at that time I was still dealing with this stress of almost dying.
Yeah,
and I didn't like. To me, that was such a mind blowing. Like, I would have never gone out of my way for you if I didn't think we were friends, because I never got anything out of that person. You know what I'm saying? It's not like I wasn't gaining. I was giving everything just because I had it available. it wasn't a strain on me to be like, yeah, you could use the theater or you could do this or you that, right? But to hear that, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, for sure.
it was definitely but then you look at everybody from that time period that had that were better than everybody, like had that kind of brain. And
Funnier.
they're
They were
still
funnier than the next.
funny,
They
yeah,
were the funniest person. Yeah.
funniest brain. But they still have day jobs. They still did, right? When was the last time you ever seen me work a job?
I've never seen. Oh well, except for the consulting, which you wanted to do.
Well, yeah, that was my business.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurialism.
Right. I've never seen you work at a fucking anti-maze pretzel or an office or nothing like that. No.
Yeah.
I've never seen you work for somebody else, is I guess essentially what I'll say.
Yeah, I've never worked for someone else. And if I had, it was SNL
Yeah,
or on
right.
set or for the SAG union or, whatever.
Right.
Like I have consistently, since you've known me, consistently worked in the entertainment industry.
Correct. I've never seen you do nothing else. No.
Yeah, because this is my life. And I was there before I met you too. And it's because it was my dream. And I made it. The first time I ever did comedy, though, like when I started getting around those people, they used to make fun of me because I made the shirts that said "Make a right, left here," laugh here, pure. And they made fun of me, like, "Why do you have merchandise?" I go, "Because that's what I did with my band. I want to." They're like, "You're gonna sell the shirt?" I go, "No, I give the shirts away, but sometimes people offer to pay me. They say, 'Oh, I'll,' and I go, 'No.'" And then they're like, no, take it. It's because I want to support you. And then I take it because then it's insulting if I don't. But it's all about just getting people to have the brand. And they're like, yeah, but you have an ego then. You think you're better than everyone. I go, no, this is how you
that was just projection.
Exactly. well, it's like when people had their I have my special. You can buy my special. And like, why would they buy your special?
Yeah, why would I want to do that even?
Just give it to them.
No,
I need to make money. Selling one DVD for $10 is not making money. You are literally not doing anything with
making charity practically.
Yeah, I sold 2. Oh, I'm sorry. You made $20.
I can almost go to Burger King. Next show, I'm going to Burger King.
If I could just sell one more DVD,
I could supersize it.
I've been doing the same set. You just saw me do the set that's on the DVD.
Yeah, it was so good you could pop it in at home into your DVD player.
Yeah, you can wait. Oh, you don't have a DVD? You can put it on your computer. Your computer doesn't have a DVD?
It doesn't have a disk drive? Oh, well, maybe you could put a laser pen on it and spin it really fast and it'll play in your head.
You can just put it up to your ear. Be great.
I'm hungry. All right. Now, is that the selling point now? I can't eat, people.
It's $10.
I gotta sell it. I gotta make money.
How much did you get paid for the show tonight? Nothing. There was a comedian that I really liked, that I thought was probably the funniest comic I had seen for a long time. And I asked them to be on 2 different shows, like special shows that I was raising money for, like MS was one of them. And then the next show I did was cancer. And it was a fundraiser. And they said they can't do the show for anything less than $400.
Oh my God.
And they're like, if I do this show, I'm giving up a weekend of paid gigs for another show. I have never seen them do a paid weekend anywhere because I was friends with them and they only did shows.
I mean, at that point, if you're faking it to making it, I give. But like you said, you know the person, and B, it's fucking charity, dude. That's the point. You're giving up. You're donating your time to the cause.
Yeah, and I knew I'd be able to afford it because the show, you're selling tickets at a high price because it's for charity.
Yeah.
But like, it's just funny because that was their pay. Well, this is what I do for a living. No, this isn't what you do for a living.
Well, that was going to be the next thing I asked you. Was the person even worth $400? But the answer is clearly no.
They were, because at that for me to build that relationship, because I was just starting in the it was like maybe 2 years in, and I was like trying to build that relationship. But again, I never got anything out of them. But in their mind, they're like, "Oh, but you got me to do comedy." And then one time I reached out to them. I go, "I'd love to manage you." And they're like, I don't need that. Can you get me shows? And I go, "Well, that isn't how I would manage you." And they're like, "Oh, I just need someone to book me on shows." And I was
the way that you would have managed them would have gotten them shows.
No, it would have got them paid.
Okay.
That's the difference.
All right.
That's the difference, because I would have did everything I could to get them paid, whatever that took.
So
It had
even
nothing to do with shows.
right, but it could have been shows.
They could have gotten
And
shows
but you would have went through any avenue possible to get them paid.
paid.
Even if it wasn't like, not like we were saying earlier, the comedy wasn't getting you paid. Even if you would find a way, if it's sit in this dunk tank for $10, $20.
Yeah. I can get you
$200
for the weekend to be a dunk tank announcer. Where you
right.
Oh no, I'm not gonna do that. It's
That's not a show.
$1,500. It's $500 a day.
Yeah, but it's not wasting my time. It's not a show.
Yeah, I can.
I'm working on my 10,000 hours, bro.
I put in my 10,000 hours.
How am I gonna get to 10,000 hours at a dunk tank? Stupid.
I need to pay my rent.
How is $1,500, which could pay my rent for the month, gonna help me further my goals in entertainment? You fucking dingus! You want to manage people?
Yeah.
You're dumb.
I have integrity. You don't know what you're. Oh my god, there was this one guy. I don't remember his last name, but I'll say his first name because he's a douche. Marcus. And but I don't know his last name, Johnson. And he
no, Marcus Johnson.
He one time we were at it was originally called Roadrunners or
Rum Runners.
Rum Runners.
Yeah.
And then like when we went there, it was like a nightclub, but they were doing comedy, right? And I was there, and this guy was there, and then someone else was there, and then some other comedian came over to me, and they were like, "Oh, you're Thomas, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, I heard you like you help people or something. And I was like, oh, I give people advice.
That's nice.
You know? And
started off nice.
Yeah. And I was like, why? What's up? And it's like, well, how much does it cost? I was like, well, if you just want to have a conversation, I'll happily just kind of give you some advice. And they're like, all right. And they sat down, but Marcus Johnson was standing next to us, like by the bar. And I gave this kid all this advice, whatever. He was a kid, you know?
Yeah.
And Marcus turns to us and he goes, I wouldn't listen to him. And then he looked at me and he goes, there's no amount of anything in the world that would ever get me to hire you.
Fuck.
Right. And I was like, oh, okay. So then he blocked me on everything.
Uh-huh.
And then I opened up my theater and he unblocked me and sent me a friend request. And I turned to everybody in the office. I was like, watch this. And I looked at the clock and go, 10 minutes. He's going to message me. You ready? So, accept. And 10 minutes later, he messaged me. He goes, hey, right? And he's like, hi. And then he goes, I have an improv group. And I was like, really? That's awesome. And he's like, I think you should have us come down. I says, the only way you'd have to audition though. You'd have to do a show. And I'd have to see the performance and see all the people here, like how many people you draw. And then I will hire you for the next show.
What was their name?
I forget the name of that. There were people in the group that I liked.
I've opened up for them before.
You probably did. Yeah. But anyway, so they performed. But who did they come to? They would never ask me for anything. And they came to me because I had something to offer. And they
Mark, that's so funny not that it's so funny that I've heard more bad about him than I've heard good, but it's just every interaction I ever had with him was pleasant as fuck.
My first show ever doing comedy, he was the host. And I brought like 50 people. All right. Because it was my first show. But I also had my fan base for my music. Mm-hmm. So when they heard I was performing again after a couple of years, because I had left the music industry, the place filled up. And Mike Dillon, who I love. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. He was like, look, you were originally going to open, but you brought everybody. So do you want to close? And I was like, bro, I don't have that much time. And he's like, this is like my first show. He's like, just go up there, have fun. And I was like, okay.
At that point, he's got the money, and he just wants the crowd to stay.
He paid me, and then he asked me back and paid me flat.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like he's at that point. It's like, who cares if you only do 5 minutes? They're there to see you anyway.
Yeah, they want to see me. Anyway, so I went up there, and I didn't have jokes. Obviously, I just told stories. And most of the stories were filthy as fuck. Though. The only joke I had, which is the first joke I ever told, and I'll always remember, is I never did comedy before, and I wanted to do comedy. So I called the guy up, and I said, hey, can I perform? I'm a comedian. I want to be a comic. And the guy said, sure, as long as you don't do anything blue. And I was like, I don't know what that means. And he goes, it just means, bad words, nasty, dirty talk. And I was like, you think 7 minutes of silence is going to be funny? And then there was silence on the phone. And I go, and then there was silence. So I was either drop dead funny or, but anyway, I'm here. But so I did it. And then after the show, Marcus came up to me, goes, you had, everyone was here to see you. And you went up there and did a headlining. Remember, Mike asked me to do it.
Right.
He switched me up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Marcus knew, but he goes, you should be respectful to your audience and actually have material. Like, they're here to see you, and you just went up there and flopped. Let's be honest. People were laughing the whole night because they knew me and because I was flopping. And that's me doing my job.
Yeah.
Even my last joke, the whole place blew up. And it was the filthiest joke I had, right? Because it was a true story, but it was filthy, right? And he's like, you should have. And I'm like, if I go up there and take a crap on the stage and people laugh, I just did comedy.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because
the whole point is to make people think and laugh. And they would be thinking and they'd be laughing.
Yeah, what the fuck is this guy doing? And then they'd be so fucking grossed out that their nervous system would just interpret it as comedy and laugh about it.
It was so weird. And what's funny is, like, no one was really laughing at his stuff because he was doing, like when hosts are hosting, but they don't host, they just do
their act
routines in between. And you're like, you're doing 5 minutes each time.
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
something that most comedians just don't believe when you tell them that a host should just host.
Yeah, you're allowed to do a small set in the beginning to warm people up, but ultimately your job is to moderate. You're actually supposed to bring the crowd down or up, depending on how big or small the comic before you are.
Right.
Because you want them sort of like at like the boiling point, but not necessarily like too rad. That's why, like, if someone kills and then you come on and you're like, oh, let's keep it going. Like, the next comic's going to have a hard time coming on. You have to bring that kill down.
Yeah, what if their first joke is like a minute setup? And they're like ready to come rip roaring out with a joke, and you're setting the goddamn thing up, and then they're waiting for this gigantic punch, and it's not even as great, and that just could throw you off your whole damn rhythm of the damn set.
It's really it's what it is. But I'm glad I'm out of that world. I do have a question for you though.
Sure.
What was one thing other than something I said that somebody in the comedy world said to you, right, that you were just like, what the hell are you talking about?
Wait, what do you mean? Other than pretty much, there was. I mean,
I'm the only one who would make you go, what the hell are you talking about? Because I said crazy stuff, right? I'm saying, like, somebody came to you and they said either it's advice or it's negative or whatever. They just said something to you, and you're just like, what the hell are you like? Why would you tell me that? Like, why do I need to hear that from you?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Okay.
No, I really don't. I mean, if maybe I'll think about it. I'll go through the 12 plus year career of stand up I've done, and maybe I'll remember an instance. But truthfully, the only thing I could think of is I got a lot of redundant information. I got a lot of shit I already knew, and I got a lot of, like, nobody would even it's funny, like, you start and you don't talk to nobody because you're in your own head about it, and you go up there and you have a bad set. But the first good set you have, it's funny how it opens up the other comedians. Like, it's like almost like they're waiting for that one instance that says, okay, maybe this guy does have a little bit of something, like I had a couple of comedians after the first time I performed. It was sort of similar to your situation. It was literally the first time I ever did stand up. I got 35 people to show up to Finn's, and the set didn't go too great. Honestly, people were laughing because they knew me, and they knew my humor, but I thinking back to the jokes I was telling, I was like, none of them were coherent. None of them had a setup. None of them had a structure to them. You know what I'm saying? There's no flow. And I remember Mo Diggs came up to me after that set. He goes, you could teach someone how to write jokes. You could teach someone how to be funny, but you can't teach likability. And he's like, and you clearly have that. People like you. And so that, again, they had actually, that was a bad example because he did that off the rip. But I remember I killed at the Flaming Hearth once. and that brought like Key Fitz. Key Fitz came up to me for the first time after that. You know what I'm saying? Key Fitz, who had never fucking spoken to me a day before that. I'd seen him three times a
Hold my
week.
guitar, kid?
No, no. He just told me now you got to get a tight 5, and I was like, oh, all right. So maybe I'm giving you the example you're fucking looking for right now. Yeah, exactly. There were definitely moments where people came up to me that I was like, why? Yeah, why are you? Why? Because I just did well. You know what I mean? Like, where was this advice?
Which is bullshit.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah. Well, what do you mean?
So you go up there and you flop.
Yeah.
And no one cares. You go up there, you do well, and now everyone cares.
Right.
It should be the opposite. It should be if you flop,
they should have came up to me.
They should have encouraged you.
Right.
If you did good, they should also encourage you.
Right.
But to accept, because being good one set doesn't mean you're going to be good every set. Right. And you could have a set that kills and then just go up and it just doesn't do anything. You know, like it happens, right?
Sure.
But I was at I guess not Governor's, the other one. What's the McGuire's. And I was sitting at the bar or whatever, and there's this he's dead now, but he was like a named comic on Long Island though, but he was, you know, he was a nobody, but he was and he like managed other comics, you know, but really all he did was have friends that he put on his shows. And anyway, I was sitting there. Now I already know I'm already retired at this point from music. You know, like I was off for a couple of years and I decided to not be bored and go out and do stuff. So I'm sitting there already with the game plan. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm already doing stuff to get somewhere, and I just started, you know?
Yeah.
And I turned, but as just because I was just like, I just wanted to prove to myself how stupid people are, because I get annoyed at people so often. Like I have this real, like this energy, like, because I can't, because everyone thinks they're amazing, and I just like proving that no, we are all terrible people. Like we're all stupid, you know? Anyway, I said to him, I go, hey, I said his name, whatever. And he goes, hey, how's it going? And I was like, he knew me, by the way, too. He knew me. And I was like, can I ask you a question? He's like, yeah. And I said, what is some advice you could give to me to help me with my career? And he goes, all you got to do is get up on stage as much as possible and write every day, and you will have a successful career in comedy. And I said to him, that sounds more like I'll be a very good comic, but I won't have a career. Right? And he goes, well, the funnier you are and the tighter your sets are, the more people will notice you, and the more people will find you funny, and then they want to work with you. And then he goes, and this is, by the way, if anyone's listening and wants to be a comic, if anyone says this next part to you, just say thank you and then walk away. He goes, and most importantly, make sure everything you say is clean, because that's how you get booked in the big rooms. Clean comedy gets you the corporate gigs and gets you all. And I go, what if my goal isn't to do comedy like a pig? And he's like, what? I was like, you know, like I just want to get as fat as I can to be eaten up by the people who don't care that they raised me.
Yeah.
Like I want to have purpose as a like, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to be like Louis C.K. I don't want to be like you.
Tough.
You know what I'm saying? Like, not that I want to be Louis C.K. humorly, but like I want to do film and I want to do specials and I want to do TV and I want to write and I want to, you know, be involved in the industry stuff. And he's like, well, if you don't hone your skill, you'll never get anywhere in this world. And I was like, oh. So then I said to him, I go, correct me if I'm wrong, but are you saying that someone like Dane Cook, right? Because this was around that time. Mm-hmm. I go, Dane Cook, right? He's like the top of his game right now. Are you saying that he's at the same level, right, now as he was when he started? And he goes, no, he's much better now than he was, but he's not really that good of a comedian. But you just wait, you just said that I have to be really good, and that'll create. But you're saying he's not that good, but he's very successful. Yeah, but do you want to be successful with and your jokes are crap? I go, I don't care. They're laughing at me. I am successful. Like I have money, I have choices, and I get to do the thing I love to do, and people are reacting to it emotionally. I am I like, yeah, but he's a hack. Okay. All right. What? Like, like my brain. But my point is, when you start, you are always evolving. So if you use your talent as the meter, the gauge of like how successful I'm going to be, it's going to take you a really long time.
Sure.
To be Dane Cook and then get noticed.
Right.
But Dane Cook built a following before he became good.
So that they said, hey, Dane's funny. We're going to go see that motherfucker.
Well, do you know Dane Cook's story?
About how he like went to the frats and shit and just kind of hung out with people, the demographic he was kind of looking to fucking get to his shows, and then he kind of just hung out with them, and they liked him so much as a person that when they found out he was performing, they actually
because he added him on MySpace.
Right,
and he was the first person to have 1 million people on MySpace.
Oh, yeah,
and then he says, I have a show, and then it sold out, and someone said, I will book you.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So did they book him because he was funny, or because he had
1 million people on MySpace? Back when MySpace could be your .com, right? That motherfucker. It wasn't DaneCook.com that got him. It was fucking MySpace. That's hilarious.
But what do I know, right, Kenny?
Yeah. That's funny.
Anyway, all right, that's it. We're done for today.
Yeah,
Kenny, how do people find you?
Well, I'm hanging out on Twitch a lot. Kenny Murdock Corp. K-O Orp. No, Kenny Murdock, as you can see it on the screen. C-O-R-P Corp. Yeah, come and hang out if you want to. If not, I don't know. Whatever.
All right. And I heard you do your Twitch topless. Is this true?
Only if you save up your channel points.
Channel points. What do you get for points?
Oh, there's all sorts of fun things you can redeem. You can make me rap. You can make me tell a story. You can make me review an album. You can make me eat a hot chip. Oh no, you just have to. It's almost like loyalty points. It's.
Do you give them to them, or is it like a thing that they collect?
They earn as like if you come in, you get 300. Just
what if you come on the stomach?
Then you get it's whatever doesn't go into the belly button. You get to keep.
If you come in, you get a baby. If you come on the stomach, you get life.
Yeah, you get the opportunity to go out every Friday for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you get options.
Yeah.
Can people pay you now? Can they like pay? They'd be like, oh, I like you. Here's $10.
Yeah, they can subscribe to me at different levels. Each level gets you something different. I haven't figured out what those different levels get you yet. So people tend to only go at tier 1, but you get cool emotes. You get cool Kenny Murdock theme emotes.
What's tier 1? Was it like $10?
$4.99.
Oh, Jesus.
But
it's not $5. That would kill me.
Right. Yeah, but it's September, so now it's only $4.29. It's a discount for September.
All right, I like it. I'm glad for your success. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I'm doing something. It makes me happy. That's really all that's the reason I started it, was to be happy, and I am. So
now the way to be really successful is don't go live, just practice going live.
Don't actually stream, just act like you're streaming.
Yeah, like become really great first, and then your first show will be perfect.
Right. And
don't worry about people following you, getting better, and seeing you journey through your
nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah. Nobody really don't, right?
Like, they don't give a fuck. They don't want to know shit about you. They don't want to connect with you. They don't want to know they're putting their time and energy and money into somebody that they like them, who they just want you to make them laugh. They just want to laugh. That's it.
Make them laugh.
So if you can't do that, you have no value. Fuck off.
And a lot of people feared starting because they're not good enough. And the honest truth is, like, just have fun. Just go up there. Just don't try to be the best. Just try to have fun, and then build your relationships and your personality,
and be consistent with it.
Yeah, and remember, okay, so I'm Thomas J. Bellezza. You're listening to From the Hat, where we are talking by choice and chosen by random. I'll see you next month. Next month, no, next week.